Robin.
With the Opie and Anthony show, we were just discussing old sitcoms, old TV shows, and we learned that Mike Birbiglia has an A-Team van.
Yeah. So that we can remain undercover from the law.
Yeah, because you're being chased by the every police force, the military police, everything. So you want to travel around in that van with a big Mohawk Negro with gold chains.
Gold chains and feathers.
Yeah.
That's how you remain undercover. It was funny because I toured this fall in the A-Team van. I literally bought this van because I never had a car, and I was like, well, I want to buy a conversion van. Like, it's pimped out. Like, it has, like, a TV and everything, and it's nice. And then I was like, well, what if we painted it like the A-Team van? There's no law against that, right? So we do it. And I'm driving with my friend Jeff, who toured with me, and this car breaks down in front of us. And I'm like, we should stop, you know? and he's like, no, someone else will stop. And I'm like, if the A-Team doesn't stop, who's gonna stop? You know, but we didn't stop. I feel bad. We're like we're the B team.
Yeah, they probably watched you drive by and went, "Hey, A-Team."
Yeah, exactly.
I need help.
Yeah.
Does it give you the ability to fire weapons at people but never kill them?
Yeah.
I've never seen so many rounds be wasted than watching the A-Team. They never hit anything. It was always, whenever a car flipped over, they had to show the guys getting out, the bad guys, and they'd give up. Like, they'd throw their guns down and go like, oh, gosh.
You got us now.
Oh, you got us. We got...
Wouldn't that be the time you go into panic mode? All right,
just
now
start spraying.
Yeah, now I got to go all out here. I got to kill somebody.
Yeah, but they never did that. You know, they'd make something out of a friggin' air tank and some bolts.
Ed from Texas. What's up, Ed?
Yellow.
Ed.
Hey, sorry, it's Andrew. I guess you misheard me.
Oh, what's going on?
Mr. Birbiglia, sir, do you still sleep in the sleeping bag in the hotel room?
That was actually what Jim was referencing earlier.
I only know that you do something on an interesting sleep thing he has going on.
I have a sleepwalking disorder. It's dangerous.
It's for real, too.
Yeah, wait, this is for real?
Yeah. Like, it's a big hassle. Like, I'm going to Boston after this, and I'm going to the train station, and, like, I have to bring a sleeping bag, and I take pills. I take a pretty heavy pill to sleep because I literally jumped out a window sleepwalking.
Holy shit.
I have, like, a serious disorder. It's called REM behavior disorder. And it's a disorder where people have a dopamine deficiency. It's the chemical that's released from your brain into your body when you fall asleep. So it paralyzes your body so that you don't do what's in your brain, essentially.
Yeah, that's where you feel like you can't move.
When you wake up with like that buzzing feeling where you're like, I'm awake but I can't breathe or I can't move. Or I can't.
That's called sleep paralysis.
Yeah. You can't get that, or you don't.
No, I get the opposite of that.
Wow.
I like
action movies while you're sleeping.
You wake up and you're singing "There's No Business Like Show Business," holding a knife in the kitchen.
Well, that people have actually killed like their wives who have what I have.
You get off on that, huh? You do, I think. I think they let you off.
And the cops come, you just gotta go.
Yeah, yawn.
So wait, you learned
that one 10 years too late, huh?
Hey, well.
Yeah, I actually. It's funny because I jumped out of a second-story window 3 years ago, and I was in Walla Walla, Washington. I was doing a gig. I was doing like 6 colleges in 4 days. It was like one of these absurd things. You're driving all over the state, you know, and you're like, I got to make this money, or else I'm not going to be able to make. You know, when you do these colleges, it's like your rent for like 6 months. So I'm just like, I got to do it. And I knew I had to see a doctor. You know, I would have these incidents that were smaller, like I would be at my girlfriend's house and we'd fall asleep watching the movie Fight Club. And I remember I had this dream that I was the scene where Edward Norton's character's hand is held down by Brad Pitt.
I never saw it.
Oh, you never saw it? And he pours acid on his hand.
Yeah.
And we fell asleep watching that, and I had a dream that was me, and I sprinted out of the room, and I ran out of the apartment, down the hall, and I threw a chest of drawers in my wake like I was in an action movie. so that Brad Pitt couldn't get me because he's very cunning. You know, he's very strong.
Of course he is.
I sprint down the hall and I'm banging on the elevator thing. And my girlfriend, who's my girlfriend now, she came out and she's like, Mo! That's what she calls me. Mo, you're sleeping. And I was like, but Brad Pitt.
Oh, shit.
And you wake up.
Doesn't sound good.
I wake up and I'm in the hallway and fucking chest of drawers and it's like, and her roommate was furious. I mean, she's like, he can never stay here again. It was like it was ugly. And so a few days later I went to, and at this point I was like, maybe I should see a doctor. And then I was like, maybe I'll eat dinner.
Can I jump in?
That's more convenient.
After this happens to you, I would assume you would only watch G-rated movies.
Yeah.
Like movies of I don't know, people just petting like cute kittens or something. Just why would you ever see like a action movie ever again?
My television only plays ABC Family.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, in the daytime we saw No Country for Old Men in the day.
She's a brave woman.
Yeah. But
and then, hey, let's go take a nap right after you see that movie.
Yeah, shooting bolts into her head.
How long into your sleep do all of a sudden does the problem occur?
Pretty fast, like about an hour in. I've stayed in the hospital overnight, like many times for observation. They put the nodes all over you.
Yeah,
and it's so they know exactly what I have, and so I'm diagnosed.
Can we get Lee Abrams back on the phone? I want to try this out. How cool would that be? So, 20 minutes into his dumb yes crap, there's Mike stabbing people in his sleep.
So I guess the sleeping bag keeps you confined?
Oh, yeah, back to this.
That's the idea. It's like kind of like a straitjacket. I wear a sleeping bag with mittens, so I can't open the sleeping bag.
You're kidding? You sleep like that?
Yes.
And you can fall asleep?
Who suggested this?
Yeah, my doctor. I have a sleep doctor. I mean, just if you want to hear a story, it's kind of
this is fascinating
story. But I was performing at these colleges, and I was it was 2 in Seattle, 1 in Pasco, 1 in Walla Walla, and then 1 in Portland, and I did 1 in Pasco, and then in 1 in Walla Walla that night, and then afterwards. You'd think I'd go to bed, but no. It's like I'm on the internet and I'm Googling myself. You know what I mean? And I'm watching cable news, which is insane. And I'm on the phone, and it's just like all the stupid shit that you're not supposed to do before you go to bed.
Right.
And I fall asleep, and I have a dream. I was at La Quinta Inn, which is. People correct me when I tell the story. They're like, no, it's La Quinta. And I'm like, that's not fair. You can't force me to speak Spanish. I didn't press 2. But I'm at La Quinta Inn and in Waya Waya. And I have a dream that there's a guided missile headed towards my room. And there's all these military personnel in the room with me. And I jump out of bed, and I'm like, what's the plan? And they say, it's come to our attention. The missile coordinates are set specifically on you. And I was like, that's really bad, because I don't have a plan.
Yeah, that's bad.
So I decided in my dream, and as it turns out in my life, to jump out the window, so that I would detonate outside the window and save the platoon.
And what a guy.
I know.
In my dreams, I'm a hero.
You're a hero.
I would have woke up hugging a pillow. I would have grabbed somebody so I didn't go down alone. That's totally different.
But and there's 2 details that are crucial for the story. One is that I was on the 2nd floor. 2, the window was closed. It was January, so I jumped through the window.
Wow.
Like the Hulk.
Tuck and roll.
And I was like the Hulk, and I always say that because that's literally how I described it at the emergency room. Because it's a hard thing to explain. You show up at the emergency room, fucking bleeding, and I'm like the Hulk, I just jumped out my window, and so I have this habit in my life of preemptively shouting when something traumatic is about to happen. Like, if someone is going to come up to me after a show, I don't know if you've had this before, where you say something that pisses somebody off and you feel like somebody might punch you or something.
Oh, yeah.
My defense is to just, if that happens, to just shout. Just, thinking maybe they'll be like, this is weird, I'm out of here, I
don't want to deal with that.
But this fight's kind of gay, So I jump through the window and I scream, And what's remarkable, and this is always hard to explain to people because it's like, it sounds like I'm making it up and I'm not. It's like, people who have this disorder are able to do things physically you couldn't do in your everyday life because you have no inhibitions, right. You have no pain, you feel no pain. It's like getting drunk or blacking out. Jumped through the window and I landed on the front lawn of the hotel and I took a spill and then I kept running. And I'm running and I'm slowly realizing I'm on the front lawn of La Quinta Inn in Walla Walla, Washington, in my underwear, bleeding.
Oh, God.
And that's when you start realizing what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, and it couldn't be a more obscure location. Like, right. I was just like, oh, no, you know, and and like, it was like one of those rare moments in your life where in retrospect, you're like, what the hell? And at the time, you're like, I guess I'll continue, you know, living. I don't know, like, I guess I'll go to the front desk and explain what happened. I went to the front desk.
How do you do that?
It was a tricky one. I went to the front desk, and fortunately, the guy working the front desk was mildly retarded. And what's funny is I've actually vouched for this. Someone in Washington recently, when I was playing there, came up to me and they're like, I know the guy who's working the front desk or whatever when you jumped out the window. And I was like, not to be offensive, but like, is he like mildly retarded? And they're like, yeah, he's got issues. Well, anyway, it's not important, but I walk up to him and it's 3 a.m. The phones are ringing off the hook from people staying at the hotel who just saw the guy jump out the window screaming. I'm bleeding in my underwear, and I said,
running from missiles.
Hello, you know. Because you have to start somewhere, you know. And I was like, I'm staying at the hotel, you know, credibility. I had an incident wherein I jumped out my window and I'm bleeding and I need to go to a hospital, and I'll never forget his reaction because he just goes, huh. And I was like,
seen it all.
That's the best thing I could possibly get as a response.
Seen it all at the La Quinta.
So I drove myself to the hospital. I got the doctor put 30 stitches in my legs. And even he was like, you should be dead. And I was like, no, you should. Because I'm a comedian. But
no broken bones?
No. Strangely, no. This happens a lot where people black out drinking, they do shit, and you'd think there'd be broken bones.
Yeah, they're in a horrific car accident. They're the ones that don't die.
Yeah.
It's the innocent bystander.
Yeah.
That just got tapped in the drunk driver's car. You can't... It's not even a car anymore. He's just wandering around the sidewalk waiting for the police to show up. Yeah. I know that from personal experience, actually. We've had many cars at our house when I was growing up, and the drunks always survived. It was amazing to us.
Yeah.
Their car would be just nothing left, and they're just wandering around.
Yeah.
Looking up at the sky and stuff.
So I got the stitches, and just painful as anything. Just like getting like stitches in your legs. Like, you know, it's like.
How many gigs did you lose?
What's amazing is, I was so poor at the time that I was like.
Please tell me you performed the next night.
I did.
Very good.
I did. I drove to Portland. I drove across the state, God. 6 hours. Did the gig. No one had any idea. Under my pants have all these stitches, all fucking disgusting and whatever.
Crusting.
Yeah. It's all like the whatchamacallit, the stitches coming out of me, and no one has any idea. And I'm just, I'm on stage, cracker, please. It's like, who gives a shit? But it's like, but I'm just doing my thing, and and then I fly home, and I did what I should have done like 7 years before when it started.
You knew you had some kind of thing going on.
I went to the doctor. And so now I sleep in a sleeping bag. And
what kind of pills have you taken?
Klonopin, which is pretty heavy.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't know what it does.
Yeah,
it's an anti-anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Is it anxiety? Were you like molested, or is it something like that, like in the childhood that you know of?
No, I do have anxiety. Man, I have that thing. I don't know if you get experiences, but I have like shallow breathing. Where when
I feel like I do too sometimes, yeah.
Where like if I get nervous, I'm just, I feel like I can't catch my breath.
How'd you phrase it? Anthony phrased it best. You can't feel the click.
Yeah, there's almost like it's supposed to be at the top of your breath, like it feels right. It feels like
that's right.
Almost like, all right, that was the most I could breathe in. Now I gotta exhale.
Right, and you're always trying to catch that.
Yeah.
But I've talked to doctors about it, and the truth is you can't catch it. There's no such thing as catching it. Like, in other words, like, the best thing you can do is wait for your breath to continue. Because you will breathe no matter what, because your body wants to live.
Do you know what?
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had a doctor tell me one time, I went for that too, because it drives me. I think it's definitely not a problem in my chest. I've been x-rayed. Or I had one doctor tell me recently, you're a really heavy breather. Like, you breathe deep. You're a deep breather. I'm like, really? I feel like I'm a shallow breather. She goes, no, you breathe really deep. She was doing like some kind of a thing on my bladder, just like a sonogram. So it turns out I breathe fine. But it's all in your head or in my fucking. I think that I'm not filling up, but I am filling up. But she said, my one lady told me I don't exhale enough. Like, I keep some in instead of exhaling.
You just keep inhaling.
No, but I exhale, but I still have air in there. So when I inhale, I can't fill again because there's still stuff that I have not exhaled properly. That's all it is.
And the worst part is that when you have it, the people are like, why aren't you breathing right? Why aren't you breathing right?
Which makes
like,
you
stop
go
doing
into
that.
Panic mode, right?
You're freaking me out.
Hey, Blue Healer from Kentucky, he's a regular. He writes, plug him again. I work in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'd like to see this nutcase live.
Yes. You can see Mike in Cincinnati, March 20th through 23rd at appropriately Go Bananas Comedy Club.
Mike is brilliantly funny, but I suggest that you give out the hotels you're staying at.
Yeah,
just for the entertainment,
and set up maybe lawn seats. Yeah, no guarantees, but just set up lawn seats outside your window.
Well, you know what's painful about the whole thing is that Mikey, my agent, has to call these places ahead when I
make sure you're on the first floor.
First
floor.
Oh
my god!
And for a while I wasn't talking about it publicly, and because I was I was embarrassed that this because it's a really fucked up thing. It's a hard thing to tell people, and he would call and be like, Mike has to stay on the first floor, and they'd be like, why? And he'd have to cover. He'd be like, because that's what Mike Birbiglia wants, And so I'd show up and they just hate me.
Yeah.
Like, this guy thinks, cabin first floor. Like,
what he should have said, fucking
there he is out
improv
there.
on him. He should have said something like, you know what it is. He was in a place that was on fire one time, and he has a horrible fear of fire.
That's a good one.
So he has to be on the ground
That's
floor
a really good one.
He was in a building that was burning one time.
That's a great one.
But the typical agent, because that's what he wants, motherfuckers.
So you know they're putting food poison.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just poisoning your food.
And you show up and they think you're this fucking holier-than-thou jizz bag with a fucking
you're just a nice
lighter.
guy with a problem that you're trying to work through.
Mike just wants to keep himself right. He's trying to save his own life.
They're just giving you looks the entire time in the hotel.
But that's what my show's about, is Sleepwalk. It's called Sleepwalk with me, my next show. And
that's why that's interesting. All right, now we bring it all the way around. So what's all right, talk about that.
So that's what the show's about, and it's basically...
Wait, what show is this?
It's called Sleepwalk with me.
Oh, one-man show?
I'm doing it off Broadway,
that's
actually,
what I'm asking.
in May.
Okay.
And so right now I'm workshopping it, and I tell that story, and basically it's about how for like 7 years, I knew I had this problem, and I just didn't want to deal with it, because I was just, it's weird when you have something wrong with you, and you know it's wrong with you, and people are like, you should really get this checked out, and you're like, no, I'm really busy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like a colossal thing. And then in this case, it's like I literally jumped out a window.
Something that could kill you, but you're like, I'll find time.
So what's
down the road?
What is like the final thing with like solution in a way? Like, is there will this make you better, the Klonopin, or are they just like, look, you're gonna have to deal with this?
There is no solution.
Oh, there's not.
That's the problem. Except the final solution. No, what am I talking about?
The Klonopin keeps you sleeping for most of the night, though?
It does. The problem is, and this is the scariest part about it, is, there's connections with Parkinson's, and once you get into the brain, problems with your brain, you don't want to read these books. You know what I mean? Like, you do not want to see what... It's like Amazon.com. If you have this, you might also have this.
And it's never something better. Like, if you have sleepwalk disorder, you may also have a bigger than average cock. It never translates to a good thing.
You should never diagnose yourself on the internet, man. Just horrible things come up.
Dude.
That's why I never watch. That's why I talk about it all the time. How I never watch hospital shows, doctor shows, or that goddamn stupid fucking House. That show, House. I'm like, oh no, do I have that? Do I have like fucking bleeding out the asshole?
Oh, you should never look online about what you have.
No.
The internet is it's a infinite well of nothing.
Yeah.
It's just there for really the pornography, and to send messages back and forth easier than licking an envelope.
Yeah,
Putting a stamp on it.
I guess you're not allowed to fall asleep on a plane, I'm thinking.
Well, I thought that.
Yeah, man.
I thought that through
I'm not
a
even
lot.
going for a joke. I'm thinking that would just be horrific for everybody involved.
Well, fortunately, my doctor said that the Klonopin actually stays in your system throughout the day, so she's not against me taking naps. So I guess it carries through. And also, you have a seatbelt on.
Do you ever think of doing this? Might sound like an awkward thing, but on tying, I mean, I know it might be, you could fall, but tying yourself to the bed, like, you don't want to jump up, like maybe your arm, not your foot. Like, instead of the sleeping bag, like, you just tie yourself, so if you get up, you're going to want to pull in the bed, or...
Yeah, I've thought about that a lot. The other one I thought about is an alarm on my door. You know, like those security alarms, so that something goes off in the middle of the night.
I would duct tape my face to the pillow.
So that's perfect.
Crazy glow.
No, think about it. And then you're lifting your head up. That hurts a lot. Wakes you up.
But what if you just want to toss in the middle of the night? You're finally getting a good night's sleep, and you just want to turn it over to the other side.
I don't know.
You gotta have a pillow stuck to your face.
I don't even
Just stick one to each side.
Why are we making fun?
We're not. We're just, I mean,
This is a serious thing.
No, I'm fine with it.
We don't know you well enough to actually, beat you up. I mean, if it was Jimmy, we'd be all over this for hours.
No, I'll talk about this all day. It's interesting.
It's a very interesting thing, actually.
It's going to make a great one-man show. Is there going to be jokes in this?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
You're gonna have fun with it.
It's actually, I think it's my funniest show so far. So,
dude,
and that breathing thing, fucking, I have the same fucking
Mike
thing.
Is hilarious.
I've had it for a couple of years. You guys are very funny comic.
I think we're just about out of here.
I just looked at my thing. It is 10:58.
Yeah. Well, Mike, you're gonna have to come back. We just wanted to get you in here and introduce you to everybody and
cool.
Warm up to you a little bit. John McCain, we didn't even talk about that.
Oh, yeah,
I know.
McCain, shocker.
And I told
That'll be
Anthony
a story.
that John McCain's going to fuck up his own nomination. I mean, he's going to get he has the nomination, but I mean, he's going to fuck it up.
Yep.
And this is the first sign right here. What, an affair back in 1999?
Yeah, with some 40-year-old
That's absurd. That doesn't matter.
You gonna tell me the fucking New York Times? I'm sorry, did you gonna tell me the New York Times didn't know about that before?
Of course they did.
That's what everyone's saying.
Yeah.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
They were just waiting for the perfect time to bring that one out.
You know what's great about it is, I don't know if you know this about John McCain, he can't put his own shirt on. His arms are really fucked up.
Yeah.
You know he can't go any higher than his shoulders.
Yeah, so maybe he wasn't fucking around with her. Maybe she just puts his shirt on the road. That's his shirt guy.
Or she raped him and he couldn't tell her. He was trying to say stop, but he just moved like a GoBot. Uncomfortable.
Awful arms. Yeah, you can't raise them up. They just go out forward.
God, really gives me the creeps. Just stop it.
Poor guy walking through a crime-ridden neighborhood. Stick him forward.
There's
like
no
an idiot.
substance to the claim whatsoever. I mean, the article is literally just like, there's something going on. Weird.
They're going to try.
I want to plug Albany this Friday.
At the Egg, Jimmy.
Please come. So I'm a total fucking non-entity. I don't draw on Albany for shit.
Please go, because we're going to have to hear about it on Monday morning.
It's a great venue, the Egg.
I wouldn't know.
Why the fuck did they go on vacation when I needed them?
No, you know what it was? I was in Poughkeepsie a little.
I might have heard something like that. I don't know.
I opened for Hedburg and Lynch a few years ago at the Egg, yeah.
And people are talking about that show. They're saying that was one of the best comedy shows ever, you three.
Really? Wow.
And then they're like, well, could you guys come back? And there's one missing, fella.
Oh.
I saw Mitch Hedberg's second to last show ever, and I met him for the first time.
Caroline's?
At fucking Caroline's.
I think I was there. Did you go to the Sunday or the Saturday?
Good question. Did he do another one on? I don't know. It was the second to last one.
Yeah.
Or was that it? Or did he go somewhere else after Caroline's before he died?
He was supposed to. That was his.
So Caroline's was the last show.
Yeah.
So I might have went to the Saturday night show that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I always thought he was hilarious. Never met him, and finally went. He killed. Shouldn't have said that, I guess. But then he went. We went backstage and we hit it off. We exchanged numbers. Gives me a big hug.
He's an amazing guy.
He's like, I've wanted to do your show for a long, your show for a long time, and then what happened.
His wife Lynn is a good friend of me and my girlfriend, and she's a comedian and is funny, and she's coming on my tour in April.
Cool.
She's coming on the whole tour.
Oh, she's doing gigs?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she was touring with Stanhope for a while, and then she's gonna come out on our tour.
Oh, good. Yeah, Doug loved Mitch. He loved him.
What an amazing guy.
He's coming in soon, Stanhope. When's he in? Did anyone know?
I don't know. Whenever he figures it out. Doug is just,
he is out of his mind.
Stone animal can get himself in. Where does he live in? Arizona.
He lives in Arizona.
Just some tiny little town on the Mexican border. He's just
somewhere he can go out into the desert and take some kind of exotic mushroom.
Yeah.
just
and
run
see
around
God.
naked.
His
and
last
then
special is
talk
amazing.
about it.
You see his last
I never saw
special?
any specials.
I heard it was.
Oh,
I haven't
fantastic.
seen it yet. It's still on demand. I got to check it out before they
For
get rid of it.
Showtime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we play his phone messages. He'll just
you
call
do?
us up in the middle of nowhere and just
Yeah.
start babbling.
That's
and then we
funny.
play it on the radio. I don't even know if he knows we're doing that. We'll have
He
to tell
wouldn't
him.
care.
No, he doesn't care.
Robin,